And so I'm gonna read the biography you sent me yesterday, and then after that, I'll ask you to read the poem, and then after that, I'll ask you the questions. Okay?
All right, all right.
Okay. So this is the biography that was sent. Actually, before I begin, how do you pronounce your last name?
Oh, it's Dioses.
Is it okay if I just call you Annie?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, cool. So from the passionate nights and the flame of her heart, Annie from Tolac, Philippines, started writing way back in 2014 and continues to refill ink into pieces of poetry. Now a recent graduate of the University of Philippines, maybe it's Diliman. How do you pronounce the name of your university?
Yeah, it's University of the Philippines, Diliman.
Okay, cool. This 23-year-old former campus journalist focused on styles of self-growth, love, and dreams with the hope of touching hearts and sparking reflection. She is, and I'll put this in the notes, her Instagram, I think, on Instagram, where she swears to write her heart out in every piece. So again, Annie, thank you for joining me. Could you first just say your name and then read the poem you have prepared?
All right, so this is Annie Shell reading a poem for Miss Writer. Greetings, Miss Writer. It has been a while. The last time I saw you, there was no hint of smile. Unlike the old days when you still hold the paper and the pen, I wonder when you will ever write again. Remember when you get to use bullied in elementary? To whom did you cry to? Nothing but your diary. You often get scolded by your parents and teachers. Who listens to your rants? It's the blog where you enter. You'll never forget the name of your crush in high school because your poems for him are hidden in your room. That tiny misunderstanding you had with your friend, the letters you sent her so your friendship won't end. And remember when you had your first heartbreak? So many unsent letters, hoping life is a piece of cake. Your only wish is for the pain to end, but that moment, your dearest friend writing, is forgotten. Yet I am here to remind you that you'll get over it. When life gives you battles, it means you're not weak. I am here to remind you that I'm still willing to listen. Every climax, every drama, I would still keep them. I know your entire story from beginning up to now. I'm with you from highs and lows, through your ups and downs. Miss Writer, my owner, please write another entry, hoping you still remember me, your dearest diary.
Ah, very
That's it.
cool. Yeah, cool. And I want to say your backdrop is really nice. The room you're in, I think, is was really cool actually.
Oh, it's just a background effect.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's actually one of the better ones I've seen, but cool. And so I always ask the poets this question first. And well, the first question is, why do you write poetry?
I've always been passionate about literature. So these are the things that move me, the things that I look forward to after a long day of school, things that keep me awake at night. And so I write poetry because it's always been my way of making sense of emotions, both the small, fleeting ones and even the ones that linger for years. So I started writing back in high school as my best friend and I would write poems about our little crushes. So at first, it was just something fun and silly, but as time went on, I realized that poetry allowed me to translate my thoughts and feelings into something tangible, something that can be read and felt by others. So for me, it's a space where I can be honest without being loud and creative without being complicated. So, there, in simple words, I write poetry because it transforms my emotions and fleeting moments into words that resonate and create connection.
And just as a follow-up question, have you always written in English, poetry in English, or is that like a more recent development?
I write both in English and on my language, which is Tagalog.
Okay, cool. Do you find any particular challenges in writing in English, or does it come, I guess, kind of naturally to you?
I guess it just comes naturally.
All right. And then the second question is for the poems that were published in SAMJOKO magazine, what are these poems about?
So I have three published poems in SAMJOKO magazine. So each of these poems carries a different fragment of myself. So the first one is entitled Daydreams. So it reflects my longing of places I want to see, dreams I want to chase, and the bittersweet feeling of knowing that I'm not there yet, but I'm still hoping one day I will be. So the second one is entitled The Artist. So it's about unspoken expectations in love and connection, how sometimes people give us their version of beauty, but what we truly want is their genuine self. And out of the three published poems I have, my most favorite is the one I just read. So it's a poem for Miss Writer. So it's the most personal piece for me because I wrote it in a way that it speaks directly to my younger self. So it speaks to the girl who once found comfort in writing during her loneliest and most heartbreaking moments. So for me, it's both nostalgic and healing because it acknowledges the times I abandoned writing, but it also ends with hope. It ends with an invitation to pick up the pen again. So for me, that poem is a quiet conversation between me and my diary. And it's very special to me because it holds a promise that no matter how much time has passed, the bond between me and writing will always be there.
And as a follow-up question, when you write poetry, do you write it in pencil and paper first, or do you write it on a computer or a tablet first, or either way? Like, what's your
Uh,
process normally when you write poetry?
I usually write with my phone, so I just type it on my phone and then but yeah, but sometimes I also use my pen and my paper, especially when I'm in school because we're not allowed to use phones. So when we have our little breaks or recess and I have something in mind, I want to write something, I use my pen and paper.
Okay, cool. And then the third question is, uh, what tip would you give on how to write poetry?
Mm, I think poetry is like a window. You need to open it to let your emotions breathe. So, my tip would be when you write, start with what you truly feel. May it be that raw, messy, unpolished feeling. Because it doesn't have to be grand or perfect, it just needs to be honest. And for me, you can even draw inspiration from the ordinary because sometimes the best poems come from the simplest, most honest moments. So there go your walks home, the things that made you laugh today, the pain you felt last night, those quiet, everyday scenes that carry a little piece of your heart. Because you need to remember that poetry is everywhere. You just need to listen to it.
Okay. And then the next question, because I teach, and one of the problems that students have is that they find it difficult when they read a poem, understanding what it means. And so, what tip would you give to help people understand what a poem means when they read it?
To understand it, well, reading poetry is just like having a conversation over coffee. So it speaks to you softly and it waits for you to listen. So my tip would be to understand it more. You let the words linger a little before you move to the next line. So you don't have to rush it. Don't rush to understand it right away because sometimes poetry is more about the feeling it gives you rather than the exact meaning. And that's the beauty of it. It unfolds when you give it time.
Am I just curious? I don't really know much about the Philippines, but is poetry a popular mode of writing in the Philippines?
I'm sorry.
Is it popular? Is it popular in your country? Poetry.
Yes, it is. It is actually.
Okay, so do many of your friends also write poetry?
Me and my best friend specifically, we love to write poetry.
All right, cool. And then the next question is, can you name a poem or poet, either way? Can you name a poem or poet that you felt was exemplary and why?
Okay, so as a Filipino, as you've mentioned, poetry is also very popular in our country. So I've always admired Francisco Balagtas. So he is a historical figure back in the 18th, 19th century. So he made classics that shaped our literary heritage, like Florante at Laura, which I learned back in the 8th grade. And what I find exemplary about him is the fact that he used poetry not just for art's sake, but also as a mirror of history and society. So I remember one of the most famous lines from Florante at Laura goes like, sa loob at labas ng bayan kong sawi, kaliluhay siyang nangyayaring hari, which in English directly translates to, inside and outside my sorrowful country, treachery reigns as the ruling king. So for me, that line reflects the oppression and corruption during his time in the Philippines, which is expressed through poetic imagery. And I think it captures the essence of injustice both within and outside the country, which is a theme that resonated back in his time, and I still believe it does today. And so it is a fact that his poems are very timely. And for me, his poetry proved that words could carry both beauty and courage.
And can you spell either his first name or his last name, actually? Either one.
I'm sorry.
Can you spell either his first name or his last name?
Okay, so his name is Francisco Balagtas. It's spelled Francisco. So that's Francisco. Balagtas is spelled Balagtas.
All right, and thank you. And so actually that's the last question. So before we go, do you have any do you want to give a shout out or anything, talk about anything you're working on, anything you have that's gonna come out for publication? Anything, anyone you want to thank? Do you want to give like a shout out?
All right, so I think I just want to thank you specifically. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you for giving my poems a home in SAMJOKO magazine and for this opportunity to share a bit of my story. I hope that when readers come across my piece, they feel seen in some way, maybe to remember the little dreams they once had, or even to reconnect with the parts of themselves they put aside. And I do believe that poetry is meant to be shared, and I'm grateful that I get to share mine with you.
All right, and yeah, thank you so much. I did really enjoy your poetry, and I enjoyed this conversation also. And that's about it. So I'm gonna stop recording now. Again, thank you so much, Annie. I'm gonna stop recording now.
Thank you.